You are listening to That's What I Call Marketing with your host, Connor Byrne.
Welcome to the top of the marketing charts, June 2024. Yes, it is time again to take a look back at the month gone by and review what made it to the top of the marketing charts. June was a bit of an interesting month for me as I spent a week at Cannes. I know, would I ever shut up talking about it? And then a week away from my desk. So I was in a kind of very different marketing bubble, obviously the Cannes bubble, and then totally out of the marketing bubble. We'll chat about that a little bit in this newsletter. So let's get into it. Well, it is the summer of sports. And before we head into the Olympics, we're getting sucked into Euro 2024. And to a lesser degree, probably for this side of the world, Copa America. Of course, outside of, hashtag football is coming home, as a marketer, it is fascinating to see how brands activate against the tournament. The challenges of navigating being an official event partner, a team partner, we're just trying to get into the action around the edges, and lots has been going on. Of course, one of the best at doing something around a tournament that they have nothing to do with is Paddy Power. Do you remember their London 2012 stunt? Anyway, the rumour mill prior to the Euros was that Paddy had made an ad with Boris Johnson in it. And the ad was, and is still, about being Europe's favourite nation. Now, it seems very, very, very Paddy Power to do something like this. An ad of Boris Johnson, I can totally see it. But I have been told by those at the top of Paddy Towers that there was never a Boris ad being made. Elsewhere, I have heard the rumour mill is true and there was a Boris ad that got axed after complaints from staff. Anyway, Paddy have released their ad featuring Danny Dyer doing, well, what Danny Dyer does best, Danny Dyer. It is a typical tongue-in-cheek Paddy ad leading into all things that Europeans might like less than the English think they do. There are some great moments where a Spanish hotel waitress suggests it's because they blend so seamlessly into new cultures, and Danny Dyer orders egg and chips, por favor, please, mate. I wouldn't really try the Danny Dyer accent there. Great work by BBH London, Karen Martin, Michelle Spillane, and all the team. Brew had some fun with the German word for football team, Mannschaft. Yeah, you can see where it's going already. It is one of 3 ads in a series that uses humour really well. Something Brew, which is a Scottish drink, soft drink for anyone who doesn't know, is well known for. Kenny Nicholson, head of brand at Brew owner AG Bar, explained in Marketing Week that the new campaign builds on the core pillar of the brand, using humour to connect people emotionally. It is great to see humour coming through. I'm sure with Scotland out of the Euros, things are a bit sensitive, but I wonder, are Brew planning anything to react to other teams' involvement in the tournament, or maybe when they get kicked out? Elsewhere, Adidas created Hey Jude. It uses a stripped back version of the famous Beatles song Hey Jude and is created by agency Johannes Leonardo. It shows the support for the English team and specifically Jude Bellingham, who exemplifies this generation of players who are embracing the support of their fans and overcoming the pressures of their nation's past disappointments, according to a statement from Adidas. The song chronicles the disappointment England fans felt losing to Italy in the final round of Euro 2020 and the nation's hope for victory this year. It is filled with former player cameos and comes together brilliantly with the chorus of fans singing the song. It really is a lovely shot, fabulous art direction. When it came on in this house, there was a few no pressure Jude comments, but he seems to be rising to the pressure, particularly if last night's match is anything to go by. Meanwhile, Hellmans was left with some egg on their face when Jack Grealish wasn't picked for the England squad. They pinned their hopes on Grealish being at the tournament. I'm pretty sure he had too. And quoted in the New York Times, Tim Crow, former head of international sports marketing agency Synergy, said, Grealish not making the team isn't a big issue for Hellmans. Hellmans is a European-wide sponsor, not just England, and this campaign has been going for weeks. So most of the media budget will be already spent. They've had their value out of Grealish. For the big eventers who Hellmans is targeting, his selection or non-selection is unlikely to alter their purchase behaviour. Speaking to other marketers about this, mostly because I'm not sure anyone else would want to have the conversation with me, we wondered why Hellmans didn't lean into this and create a campaign about those who got left behind, those who aren't in Germany. The rumour mill was that they wanted to do this, but Grealish's agent wasn't up for it. But interesting to see the views of Tim Crow saying it doesn't really matter. So, what else have you seen around the Euros? What brands do you think are winning? Would love to get your comments and views on that one. Believe in Chicken. KFC launched a new campaign in June called Believe in Chicken. The brilliant creative agency Mother take a dark look at current affairs, the rise of AI, people's hate of politics, a general malaise and disbelief in so much. Yikes, that's depressing. KFC wanted to remind people that they can believe in one thing, and that is chicken and a night in with a bucket of KFC. They bravely teased the campaign with unbranded billboard, and it's been called a whole new bold art direction for the brand, which was all about simplification. And you notice in the ad, there's no mention of finger licking or the kernel as highlighted by the drum. Quoted in an article in the drum was Mother's executive creative director, Martin Rose, and he said that, frankly, it was about getting back to standing out in the category, and secondly, it was about youthfulness and appealing to a younger audience, and that came from the photography style, including people in it. I think it's fair to say the campaign has done that, and this is a bold new direction for KFC. They had gone back to using finger licking good and the kernel for a while, so I wonder what has changed. Are those DBAs not working for them? Is the chicken, the live chicken, going to be the new DBA? I am just an audience of one, and I know we're supposed to be more farm to fork aware, but I didn't love the idea of this cute dancing chicken ending up in my burger. I looked to see if System 1 has tested the app, but I can't see anything, so if anyone else has seen it, I'd love to know the scores. So on to some Cannes talk. Well, BA wins and loses in Cannes pretty much on the same day. I've talked a bit about Uncommon Studios and the work they do, and they won at Cannes for their work with British Airways. You know, that really infamous out of home where they actually don't show the logo, or they make it so big. Maybe that was the whole thing. Make it bigger. Make the logo bigger. It got so big you don't really see it. But really highly applauded work, and it got awarded at Cannes, winning a number of awards, definitely gold in the out of home category. But the wheels come off advertising, creative and effectiveness when your product fails. And at the same time as the gongs were being handed out in Cannes, BA was cancelling flights filled with marketers heading to Cannes. Oops, BA. So my last mention maybe of Cannes, I was recording the Cannes sessions when I was out at the festival, daily updates, daily episodes, trying to bring you the festival as it was happening and sharing the airtime with Colin Lewis and a number of other people who were kind enough to join me and talk about what was going on at Cannes when we were there. I also recorded a load of episodes when I'm there, so I'm going to be sharing those in the coming weeks, and some amazing episodes with Chidi Akara, Mark Ritson, Karen Nelson-Field, Karen Deep Capnay from Duolingo, Jerry D'Angelo, Mauro Porcini, John Lombardo, Pete Weinberg, James Herman, and Jimmy Knowles. So stay tuned for those episodes coming throughout the summer. And thanks again to Friedman International for their partnership. I mentioned I was out of my marketing bubble for less than a week and took a few days out of Cannes, post-Cannes and my marketing bubble to spend time with the family. We spent a few days in London, which was great. And I quickly became really annoying as I stopped to take pictures of ads I was seeing. It was interesting to see who was advertising the most in London as you walked around, or at least what I spotted the most. The one I saw most was Airtasker. They seemed to be everywhere, and not knowing what they did, I thought they were a removal company. Based on the first execution I saw, that I talked about moving and seemed to have quite high frequency because it was pretty much all I saw on day one. On day two, I saw another execution and I was able to figure out what they do. And it's about posting a task and then somebody comes and says, I'll do that task for you. Back maybe to the Euros, but I kind of saw these ads all over London, AliExpress. They were everywhere with David Beckham, who is kind of also everywhere. He was also advertising Walker's Crisps and some headphones. You always kind of worry about that level of exposure for someone who is so well known. But look, he's the guy with the millions in the bank, not me. The AliExpress work, I'm going to be really honest, it made my eyes sore. It looked like someone had created on PowerPoint. I was like, God, they could have used Canva. It was one of those ads that's trying to show, say, do everything. And for me, it was trying to do far too much. I got to see some other work, and actually most was out of home because that's really where I was exposed to advertising. Beautiful work by Evian for the Wimbledon partnerships. The Tofu Co. had really interesting ad. I don't love the product, sorry to say it, but their creative was really big, bold, clear. And look, that's what it takes. You're standing in an underground station. You might have a couple of seconds to see something before your train comes. You know, you need to get that message across. I think out of home is incredibly hard. And when it's great and clear and succinct, you can really land a good message. Another brand that did, I thought, really well is Lucky Saint non-alcoholic beer, and they had just consistent advertising deliver us from thirst. So really, really great. Another thing I wanted to talk about was fast fashion getting a roasting. So fast fashion, I can barely say it, got a roasting from Saturday Night Live in June with their Zimu sketch, taking swipe at Shein and Temu. Now, when the Super Bowl ad for Temu came out, the people I spoke to were not aware of who Temu were. So this may suggest that people are a lot more aware now if Saturday Night Live are actually including a bit of a skit on it. But I don't think this is going to be what Shein or Temu would want them to be aware of. First, the team at Saturday Night Live can make good ads. I wonder how this one would score on System 1. June podcast, I've already mentioned that all the episodes from Cannes are available, but we had other episodes in June as well. I caught up with Mark and V for an episode of the Mindless Marketer series, and we talked about things like pre-testing. Does creative inform media or media inform creative, and differentiation versus distinctiveness? And V pushed us to make sure we had an opinion. We also had another episode of Building a Legacy series. It was part 2 in the series, and it was Creativity Matters, featuring Claire O'Grady, Micheál Brennan and Aidan McLaughlin, discussing the shift from traditional PR to a more integrated approach. And we released Building a $1 Billion Global Brand, featuring Colin Westcott-Pitt, where we discuss how Optimum Nutrition has become a giant for Glanbia Performance Nutrition and how Colin thinks about scaling and growing this global brand. Tomorrow, we're going to have part 3 in the series Legacy Communications, all about sport sponsorship, with 3 brands at very different stages of their sponsorship journey, which is really, really interesting episode coming your way. Well, look, that is it for this month. There's been lots of content out, and that's what I call marketing. I feel because I was at Cannes for a week and then kind of out of circulation for a couple of days, I've missed maybe some of the big moments of marketing in June. So please do send me your comments, send me your thoughts. I'll be posting this on LinkedIn as well, so you can add your comments there as well. What topped your marketing charts in June 2024? So until the next episode of That's What I Call Marketing, which again is out tomorrow, Building a Legacy series, Going for Gold, where we talk about the role of sports sponsorship in your marketing mix. From me, Conor Byrne, your host, thanks so much for tuning in.
Are you facing the maze of global expansion? Diplomat introduces the diplomacy model, a cost-effective, innovative approach to navigating the complexities of your brand's presence in international markets. Visit diplomat.agency.
If you would like to reach an engaged community of marketing leaders, get in touch with That's What I Call Marketing to discuss sponsorship opportunities.